In this video, we're going to talk about the basic cockpit layout and philosophy for the Airbus A320. As most of you know, it's a forward-facing cockpit which accommodates two pilots, divided into four main parts, starting with the overhead panel, the glare shield, the main instrument panel, and the pedestal. So let's have a quick look at the overhead panel. On the overhead panel, as you can see, the systems are organized vertically and it is divided into various systems here. So as you can see, this is the air conditioning panel, the electrical panel, fuel, hydraulics, and fire. The overhead panel is easily accessible from both the captain's side and from the first officer's side. Next, let's come to the glare shield. This portion of the cockpit right here, if you can see my pointer, is called the glare shield. It supports all the short-term tactical controls for the auto-flight system. As you can see, the controls on the glare shield provide easy access to both the pilots, and it ensures what's really important is heads-up operation. We have some buttons here and some knobs, and most of them can be turned to the left, to the right, and can be pulled out and pushed in depending on the kind of operation that you want them to do. Right below the glare shield, we have the main instrument panel. It supports display units, and these display units are necessary for flying the aircraft. So we have the PFD, the primary flight display, which is used to fly the aircraft. Next, we have the ND, that's the navigation display. Like the name suggests, it's used to navigate. Communication, we have the small panel down here. It's called the DCDU, that is the data link control display unit. And finally, these two panels, the upper and the lower ECAM displays, are used to monitor various systems. Now coming to the last part, we have the pedestal. The pedestal has controls for the engine. So right here we have the thrust levers, and below the thrust levers we have the engine master levers. They control the engines coming on and off. We also have various aircraft controls here. We have the flaps, we have the speed brakes, and we have the rudder trim. Also housed in the pedestal are the MCDU, which is used for navigation. So we put in our flight plans, etc. on the MCDU. And below that, we have the RMP, that is the radio management panel, which is used to communicate with the ATC, with cabin crew, with the mechanics. And we can also use this panel to make SAT calls. So that is the basic layout of the A320 cockpit. So we have the overhead, glare shield, and the main instrument panel, and the pedestal. Coming to the concept of the A320, it has a dark cockpit concept. So in general, keeping it simple, what it means is if all the lights are out, the system is ready and fit to fly. As you can see here, buttons have they're push, and the push buttons, so they have lights on them. So if you push this button in, the light goes out, and that means the system is operating normally. If there is some kind of failure on a certain system, a fault light comes on the button, right? Like you see right here, the amber fault light has come on. That means there is something wrong with that system, and it draws the pilot's attention to that system. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short video on the cockpit layout and philosophy for the Airbus A320.